Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a little bit of a more structured video today compared to what I've been doing, which is mostly vlogs and kind of chill chat kind of videos. So lately I've been looking a lot into kind of self-improvement, self-help books, productivity, how to stay motivated, just looking into all of the ways that I can make my life a little bit better, a little bit more efficient, a little bit closer to how I want my life to be and to my goals. And the more I look into this kind of thing, the more inspired I am to try and share it with you guys, to learn more about it and to be able to teach other people who maybe don't want to spend the time reading books or researching or trying out different things, because I have tried out so many different ways to increase productivity in my life. So today I put together a video for you guys that outlines 5 different ways for you to increase your productivity and get a little bit more done throughout the day, while also focusing on de-stressing and being as content and happy and stress-free as possible while being productive and getting stuff done. So my first tip to increasing productivity is to get enough sleep. It is so important. I used to be that person, and you may be that person right now, but I used to be that person in high school and for most of university. I was so convinced that my prime amount of sleep was somewhere between 5 and 7 hours. I was convinced that if I got more than that, I would be groggy, I would be tired, it was just too much sleep for me, and I functioned best on about 6 hours of sleep. And I was convinced of this until I started to consistently get more than 7 hours of sleep. Sleep can help with so many things. It's necessary to repair muscles if you're someone that works out a lot. It helps you to stay less stressed. It helps you focus. People who sleep more have decreased levels of inflammation in their body. There are just so many benefits. 2 of my favorite I'm going to mention in a little bit more depth because I think they're really important. And those include eating properly, so regulating your diet and your cravings, as well as memory consolidation. So consolidation is where your brain takes short-term memories that you may have learned throughout the day, like if you learned something new in class, if you were playing a sport and you learned something new in that, like physical and mental memories, and it takes the short-term memories and consolidates them into long-term memories that you are going to have permanently. And that process happens while you're sleeping. So you will learn better, you will learn more, you will remember more of what you learned, and you'll be able to focus better the next day on learning more. It also helps with regulating your diet, which is something that I've struggled with for so long. I've gone through phases where I've had issues with binging on food, not choosing the right food. I have a pretty sensitive stomach. I have IBS, which flares up like crazy when I don't get enough sleep and I'm too stressed. So when you don't get enough sleep, your body craves junk food. It just wants energy, and any kind of food, including heavy amounts of carbs, will give it that energy. So obviously that's what you're gonna crave. So when you get more sleep, it increases your chances of making good food choices. Your diet can change so much about how you live your life and how you feel, how you think. So that's why I wanted to include that, because it's just such an important thing to me. So my next tip for increasing productivity is to wash your dishes before bed. And I know it sounds simple. For a lot of people, the first thing they do in the morning is they get up and they make some food. And if the first thing that you see when you wake up is a dirty counter, dirty dishes, you don't have what you need to make food, it just doesn't start your day off on the right foot. And you can even expand this out to tidying up your bedroom before you go to bed. I find that the main thing that bugs me in the morning, if it's not done, is the dishes. So if you do the dishes before bed, you tidy your bedroom, when you wake up, it feels like you have a clean slate to start with, and you can focus more energy on the productive things that you want to do rather than having to clean up your whole house, so that you actually have a good environment to start those in. The third tip that I have to increase productivity is to limit your time on social media. And this is so important, especially when our generation is so social media focused. It's just so easy to get caught up in endless scrolling or going and checking out people's profiles. And I'm not saying that you need to just totally quit social media. I personally love social media. I think it's a fantastic tool, especially if you have a YouTube channel or you're a brand. Then social media is kind of a necessity to what you do. But the point is that you can do this without wasting time and productivity on it. So for example, I use an app, it's called Stay Focused. I'm currently down to about 20 minutes a day of social media time, which gives me just enough time to post on my accounts if I want, to respond to some people in DMs, as well as actually scrolling a little bit, checking out what my friends are doing. 20 minutes, believe it or not, is enough time for me to do all of that. And you don't have to spend 20 minutes on it. You can limit yourself to an hour if you're someone who uses social media a lot and you're worried. Because if you limit yourself too much, just like anything, if you restrict yourself too much, you're going to end up going and using it a crazy amount of time when you do get the chance to. So choose a limit that works for you. And then another tip that I have with limiting social media time is to purge the accounts you follow. So I know that I have old accounts all the time that I go and unfollow because there's no reason for me to still have them. I unfollow a lot of accounts like clothing companies because I'm literally signing myself up for free advertisements that I'm probably going to get distracted by. So just go through and unfollow a bunch of people that you know you don't need to be following. If you don't want to unfollow people necessarily, you can also make use of the mute button on Instagram where you don't have to see their posts, you don't have to see their stories, but you're still following them. And then every once in a while, if you want, you can go and check out and see what they've been doing. But the point is that the less you have to look at, the less time you're going to spend there, and the less time you're going to want to spend on social media because you know that there's nothing new. My fourth tip is to take advantage of to-do lists or planners, agendas, anything of that sort. You don't have to use it all the time and super far in advance. I normally write down my to-do list the night before the day I'm going to be doing stuff or the day of because I know that things change. But the main idea of this is that if you know you need to have a productive day or you want to have a productive day and you have certain things that you need to get done, if you have a plan for that, it will be so much easier to follow through. Because if you start the day off, you have no clue what you're doing, what you're starting with, what the most important thing is to get done, then it's easy to get distracted and it's difficult to actually go through and get your tasks done in a strategic way. So I find that using an agenda and a to-do list is the best way to set myself up for success. And then number 5, which I think is also one of the most important tips, is to take breaks and take them the right way. Especially these days with our whole hustle culture that we have going on. It's hard to accept that working for 6 hours straight without taking any breaks is not actually the most productive way to get things done. For some reason, people think that if you take a 20-minute break, that's 20 minutes of good, solid work that you lost. Where in fact, if you take a 20-minute break, you go for a walk, chances are your focus and productivity are going to be way better when you come back to do your work than they would be if you had just powered through and continued to try and work. And taking breaks will ensure that when you do have to sit down and focus, you're ready to and your brain has been rested and you can actually be productive. And I think that this is where the whole idea of work smarter, not longer came from. It's also important to take the right kind of breaks. So for some people, they think that spending 20 minutes on social media or watching a TV show or going and like eating some chips is a good idea for a break. When really you should be getting up, you should be getting active, you should be changing your environment, and you should be like making some healthy food, which are all things that are going to boost your productivity when your break's over. I highly recommend setting a schedule, taking regular short breaks. Don't make them too long because then you may not go back to your work, but take regular short breaks and make them the right kind of break. And as much as you don't believe it now, if you're someone that works for hours on end, trust me, it will help your productivity because I have been that person that sits down and works for 8 hours straight. And I am so much less stressed, happier, and I get so much more done in a smaller amount of time now that I take actual breaks and I go for walks and I make sure that I'm giving my brain adequate rest. So I hope you guys enjoyed that and could gain something from those tips. I know that productivity is high in demand these days, especially at my age when you're just starting to get into your career and you really, really want to be successful. So I hope that you guys gained something from that video. If you have any other productivity tips that you think are also very important, you are more than welcome to leave them in the comments below. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to smile, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.